Hey guys, it's Campbell. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new around here, hi, I'm Campbell. I'm currently a ballet major at the University of Cincinnati. And I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you could join us. So today, all my roommates are out right now and the room is feeling very cozy and nice. And so I thought that this would be a great time to give you guys a little stretch routine, like show you my stretch routine. And this is what I do, not every night, because a lot of times I finish late and I'm tired and I don't have time to do this. But when I do have time to stretch, like at night, I think it's really helpful. It helps to release like a lot of lactic acid and fascia that's been built up from like a long day of dancing and stuff. And it also helps improve your flexibility. And so I wanted to show you guys what I do. And yeah, just kind of come along with me, stretch with me. It's gonna be a nice, comfy, slow video. Grab your water, because water is very important. And I also have some hot chocolate in my ghost mug that I made. So get cozy, get comfy. I'm in my PJs right now. And let's stretch together. Okay guys, so I start out all of my stretches, like stretch routines, by rolling out my muscles with a foam roller. I highly suggest getting a foam roller. You can get one off of Amazon. I got mine there. I love them. They're so good for breaking up like fascia and lactic acid. It feels so good, especially you'll see in a second. I'm gonna roll out my back. That feels amazing. Highly suggest. Anyways, so let's get started. We're gonna start easy with a nice hip opening stretch. So just place one leg over another, so heel to knee, and then just bend over very softly, very slowly, and you should be feeling a nice gentle stretch in your glute. Now, you may not be going as far over as I am, and that's totally fine. Just go to however much you can. You're doing great. Remember to breathe, and yeah. Now go ahead and fold all the way over, really relaxing your head into the stretch. You can sway back and forth if you need. And now we're going to switch sides. So now do the exact same thing again. And I like to massage out my feet as well while I'm in this pose, so feel free to do that. So what I'm going to demonstrate real quick here, you can kind of see it, I have a baggy shirt on, but what you want to do is stretch over with a flat back as opposed to a rounded back. I got this tip actually from Catherine Morgan. You always want to stretch how you want the step to look. So if you want a straight back in a step, straight back while stretching. So now we're transitioning into a more intense version of that last stretch. If this is too intense for you, go back to what we were doing before. But now you're going to put your knees together and bend all the way over, again with that straight back we were talking about earlier. And this is a more intense glute stretch. If this is too intense for you, stay more upright. But if it feels good, go ahead and lay all the way forward and really get into those ooey gooey sore areas. This is one of my favorite stretches. I do it every day. And remember to keep breathing. Again, this is intense. If it feels intense, breathe. But make sure you know the difference between a nice intense stretch because you have sore muscles or pain. Now go ahead and switch to the other side, and we'll keep doing that. Good job, everyone. Now we're going to transition into a hamstring slash calf stretch, depending on how you do it. So again, with this stretch, you're going to stick one foot forward, bend in the other, and make sure you keep that nice flat back. And so you're going to start with a more active stretch by pulling back on your foot, and then once you start to feel good in that stretch, go ahead and bend all the way over. You can round your back and just lay on your leg and really get in that good hamstring and calf stretch. If you want more of a calf stretch, pull back on your foot while it's flexed. If you want more of a hamstring stretch, just fold over like normal. For me, I feel a hamstring stretch better when I actually am pulling back on my foot. So if you want more of a stretch, try that. Okay, now go ahead and switch over to the other side very gently. Again, this is a nice, gentle night stretch that you can do before you go to bed if you're tired after a long day. So don't be pushing yourself too far. Don't be really aggressive with yourself. Just be very gentle and take your time. And also, I should have said this beforehand, but make sure that you're at least somewhat warm before you go stretching, like these more static stretches that I'm doing. If you're more warm, like your muscles are more warm, you're less likely to pull something. I learned that the hard way, so don't be like me and, I don't know, run around a little bit, get your blood flowing before you go and stretch. Now coming out of that pose, we're going to do the same thing that we just did, but with both legs. So go ahead and fold over, grab your toes, or go as far as you can. There's no judgment here. This is for you. I like to pop my feet there, so that's what you saw me doing. And then once you feel good with your flat back, you can go ahead and round over. You can point and flex the feet as you like. I like to alternate between flexed for a more intense stretch and pointed for a more chill stretch. Okay, next up, we're going to do a little spine stretch. So go ahead and cross one leg over the other and twist, looking away. My back always hurts a little bit after doing those stretches, so I just like to do this. And it also just feels good to stretch your spine. We will be doing more of that later in the video, but yeah, be nice to your spine. It does a lot for you. Next up, we have a stretch series that helped me get my splits, actually. So if you want your splits, I suggest doing this. So we're going to start in a runner's lunge with the back knee on the ground, and you're just going to push forward with your hips to stretch out that hip flexor, which is, I believe it's a muscle in the very front of your hip. And so if those are tight, it's going to be harder for you to get down into the splits. And this is also somewhat of a quad stretch, which is the muscle on the top of your thigh, but this is mainly just for your hip flexor. If you want a more intense stretch, go down to your elbows, like I just did. For me, it doesn't really serve my body that well. I don't feel that deep of a stretch when I go down on my elbows, so I prefer to stay up, but it's whatever works best. So now a quad stretch. Go ahead and grab that back foot, pull it towards you. If your knee is hurting in this position, make sure that your hips are pushed forward. Look at how mine are pushed forward. You should be resting above your knee, not on your knee. So it should not be hurting your knee. Once you're done with that, go ahead and push back into a hamstring stretch. Make sure your hips are square and that you're not sitting into one of your legs, as I demonstrated there. And go ahead and reach over. You can flex and point the foot as you like. You can turn out the front foot if you want. This is a stretch series that I've been taught by many teachers, but it's also a stretch series that Catherine Morgan suggests for getting your splits, and I think it is super duper helpful. It's really nice. I really suggest it. And when you're ready, slowly slide down into your splits, or as far as you can. If you don't have your splits, go into a jazz split, is what we like to call it, with your back leg bent and your front leg straight, and stretch over like I am. But otherwise, if you have your splits, go ahead and sit into them and stretch on over. Go ahead and arch back if you so please. That helps me feel a nice stretch in my hip flexor. But if you don't like that, just go ahead and sit wherever it's comfortable for you. And very gently come out of that when you're ready. And then we're gonna go over to the other side. So remember everything that I said about proper technique, and I'll see you guys in the next exercise. Really get into this and keep breathing because splits are very intense. So take your time and don't pull anything. Again, I learned the hard way. I pulled my hamstring doing the splits. So be gentle with your body. It takes time. Keep breathing. Now gently take yourself out of your splits, and good job, guys. Take a quick sip, quick sip of water before we move on to the next stretch, because the next stretch is our center splits, or our straddle, depending on what you want to call it. And that gets quite intense, so we need hydration for it. So go ahead and get into your straddle. I personally don't really like stretching my center splits this late at night. I feel like it's too intense of a stretch for me. So I just prefer to stay in my straddle and slowly work my way down to the floor. And as you can see me motioning there, keep breathing. This is a really intense stretch. which is why I work my way down to it. So start at your elbows, start at your hands if you need to, start where you need. You should be feeling a stretch in your inner thigh muscles. Those tend to be really sore for me, so this feels really nice. And just kind of slowly at your own pace, sink into the stretch and keep breathing. If you would like a more intense stretch that really stretches your middle splits as opposed to your straddle, go ahead and pop up and over so you're not like laying down, but you're instead like on top of your hips, if that makes any sense. You can go ahead and do that. But again, that's a really intense stretch, and you do not have to do that by any means. And when you're ready, slowly work your way up, take a deep breath, and we're going to stretch side to side while we're here. So go ahead and stretch all the way to the right. You should feel a nice stretch in your obliques or your side body. That should feel really good. Make sure your chest is open, and you can stretch your arm backwards. If you want, do whatever feels good. Find those ooey gooey sticky spots, and then come up and switch to face your leg and go over. Now go ahead and go over to the other side. And now flip to face your leg. Good job, everyone. Now, gently bring your legs in and shake them out. Give them a nice little hug if you need to. They just did a lot of stretching, so give them love. So now, this is something I like to do in yoga and Pilates that I've done. There's a focus on opposition. So if you do one stretch, you do it the other way. So what you're going to do is lay on your back and turn your knees in so that they fall towards each other with your feet apart. So you're quite literally turning in your legs. And this will stretch the outside of your glute, which I have never stretched that area before, and it feels really good, especially after you just did a lot of hip opening exercises. You have to pay attention to the muscles that you don't usually use as a dancer, just for the sake of health. And when you're ready, go ahead and transition into a nice quad stretch where you have one leg bent in kind of underneath yourself. You should feel a nice stretch in the top of that thigh. And slowly transition to the other side. And now come out of it. And so What we're going to do now is kind of loosen up the leg within the hip, so bring in your right leg to you and kind of swirl it around a little bit, and then take it over across your body for a nice spine stretch. Try to keep your shoulders on the ground, and you'll feel hopefully a very nice stretch throughout your back. And go ahead and switch to the other side after you've rolled your leg around in your hip a little bit more. And then go ahead and take that left leg across your body and stretch. Now take a big whole body stretch. I like to twist from side to side, trying to find those ooey gooey areas. That's just a second for yourself, like you're getting up in the morning. And now coming to a seated position, we're going to do some arm stretches. So go ahead and take your right arm across your body and hold it there with your left hand. Even though dancers don't use their, well, female dancers don't really have to have the strongest of arms, it's still good to stretch them out and make sure that they're not getting all tight and knotted. And go ahead and switch to the other arm. And now go ahead and take your right elbow behind your head and gently pull it with your left hand. And switch. And now go ahead and interlace your hands behind your back, stretch your arms, and fold forward, letting your arms come forward with you. You should feel a nice stretch in your shoulders. Now come on up from that. And now we're going to do some nice neck rolls. Go ahead and roll your head to the right. Slowly finding all those places. If you find a sticky place, stay there, hold it, rock it out a little bit, and then keep going. And another head roll to the right. And when you're ready, go ahead and reverse it to the left. Nicely done. Now this is going to look a little strange. Get into a ball shape without your heels. Well, I mean, try to get your heels to touch the floor. Mine cannot because my Achilles are tight. But go ahead and get that nice Achilles stretch. Bring your head down to feel more of a stretch. And then straighten your legs up into a nice hamstring stretch. You can alternate bending legs. Take a breath, and then we're going to bend our legs and go back to that little ball position and hold it there. Keep breathing. And then push back up into another hamstring stretch. And then you can go ahead and open that into a nice, large second position. And pull your head through, sway side to side, grab your elbows, and sway back and forth. For me, this is a great release for my upper back. You can cross your arms like I'm doing there on the ground, and it just feels very nice to open up that upper back. And you can sit into either hip to get a deeper hamstring stretch if you wish. And then come and sit down into a little second squat. Sway back and forth. Do whatever feels good for you. And then we're done. Great job, guys. Make sure you drink plenty of water and have a good night. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And make sure to like and subscribe if you like what you see, and make sure to comment what you want to see me do in later videos. Love you guys so much. See you later.